shadows crawling in the bright daylight, voices twisted, feeding us the blight, telling stories that were never true. We fight to break on through. Lies are woven like a velvet chain, slick with power driving us insane. But the fire burns deep within our chests. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we make our mark. They call us rebels, say we've lost our way, but freedom's blood, it fuels the fray. From the ashes comes a brighter light. We fight with all our might. See resolve in the roaring storm, breaking cages will rewrite the norm. No more silence, no more disguise. We fight with open eyes. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we'll never rest. We rise with fists clenched high, tearing through the veil, the sky. Truth's a blade that cuts the dark. We fight, we make our mark. We fight, we make our mark.
All right, what's going on, everybody? All right, guys. So members, we had an idea this week, and I hope everybody's doing well. First of all, Eric's here. We might have a couple others drop in tonight. We decided to do a fun weekend stream with conspiracies. If you guys were in the members live, we did the deep dive conspiracy theory live not that long ago, I think 2 weeks ago. And so we decided to do a follow-up where we're going to rank conspiracy theories from most true to definitely false. And we just thought it'd be a lot of fun to go through and do something a little different. And we might have some fun guests tonight. Our very own Vince wants to jump in tonight and talk about flat earth and maybe other stuff. And then we might have a special drop-in from a special guest. We'll see if he decides to make his face known. And I'm not going to drop his name just in case he doesn't make it. I don't want to set everybody up for disappointment. But anyways, Eric, what's up, man? You excited for tonight?
I'm excited. Let's rank these babies.
So guys, I put together this. Well, actually, I found this list, this ranking list. I didn't have time to put together my own. So if we're missing anything you guys see, please let us know. I know that a lot of people in this crowd have some thoughts on this stuff. And so that'll be part of it. We'll put it to votes. So going to have a lot of interaction with the crowd tonight. And I know before we go any further, I just want to say we need to pray for LA because it's crazy out there right now. And Trump just called in the National Guard to the riots going on in LA. So we, they need help out there. And so I'm not covering it tonight. I'll probably go over it tomorrow's live. But anyways. Yeah, it's wild. But tonight we're focusing not on today's news, but we're having a little fun and gonna deep dive some stuff. So, all right, Eric, what you thinking? Should we just go in order of what's this list is to start?
I guess. I mean, the two that I've been studying since we decided to do the show are not on there, so I feel ill prepared.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What have you been studying?
I've been studying There Are No Birds. I've been doing a little There Are No Trees, and I've been doing Hollow Earth, and nothing's there.
Oh my God. I think I can put in a bird. So it was
I mean, you
birds
don't
and
really need
trees.
to.
Well, we need to talk them all out. And since
Yeah.
you spent your sweet
I can
time.
give you a nice summary, and then we can move on.
Okay, well, first of all, everybody in the crowd, I see you guys out there. Drop in the chat. I'm curious. If you're watching right now and you're into any of this stuff, drop in the chat. What is your favorite conspiracy theory or the one you are most interested in? Drop it in the chat because I want to see, Eric and I want to see what maybe we're missing. All right. Well, maybe we're missing what it may be something that we haven't thought of. So, and I see a lot of good peeps in the chat. Let me shout out some people. Wago Waco is first tonight. What's up? Zach Butterfeld, R. Will, Kathy, Renee, Dave R, Darren, Drew Savala. What's up? Chad Youngkin, Vinman's here. One Love, Connie, Vince, of course, Gerald, Northcuts, Jack Hamilton. All right. All right. What's up, buddy? Big B here. All right. Mark R, Gerald Kramer. We got lots of good peeps in here. Alice Fordham. What's up? Just Mike. All right. Love it. Love it. So, like I said, this is more of a fun one. Moon landing is moon landing's on here. So we got that one.
Yep.
Dave says he's pro UFO tip. Instead of looking up for hours, preventing neck pain, put a mirror on your lap, look down. I want to know who's doing it so much that they have neck pain. That's hilarious. Vince says 9/11. 9/11's on here. If you guys, especially if you have one that you're not into, or I'm sorry, that's you don't see on this list right here. That's something I really want to see. Okay. Northcut says my number one. Please do see if you never have. Roger Lear, American surgeon, ufologist. He was surgeon and recovered actual implants in humans. It's bizarre, somewhere perpendicular to bone like an antenna. What? Okay, that's crazy. I've never heard that one. I think that will just go in the more aliens one.
Yeah.
Which this says ancient aliens. I guess alien cover up. We could put it under that. And Area 51 as well. Joe, we're not talking stocks tonight, but I'll tell you that Ham on the Finger Insider just says it's somebody getting ready to sell their stock in case there's a squeeze and they have to declare it. So we'll go with that. Flat Earth is on here. Vince wants to jump in on that one. Danny Gigal says Paul Walker died before testifying about Hillary. I never knew that. Was he going to testify? So
I think there's a lot of people who die before testing.
there's a lot of guys. Yeah. The guy of, well, and then like child trafficking people too. Lead singer of, oh man, what's his name? Chris Cornell, and the lead singer of Linkin Park. Those are really interesting, crazy ones. Vinman said, since we're being run and controlled by Euro families, it encompasses all these conspiracies. Well, don't take the fun out of it, Vin. Some of it, some yes, some no. C19 is always interesting. Oh yeah. We'll go a little bit on that. We're on YouTube, so we can only go so far. Just Mike is George Costanza. Let's get out of here. Lorenzo Chiato, what's going on? He says Hitler got away. Conspiracy theory is fascinating. Stories of people purportedly seen him back in the 50s. Do you mean he got away to Argentina? Yeah,
or
that's definitely a big one.
If we pull Hollow Earth into that, there's another theory there.
Whoa, what?
Oh yeah, we
With
got to
Hitler and Hollow Earth?
you got to put Hollow Earth in there.
Is Hollow Earth not on here?
I've been watching so many videos.
All right, I'm gonna have to create a little graphic for Hollow Earth and put it in real quick. So just give me a second.
Donna asked about moon landing. We have that on there, Donna.
Yeah, that one's on there. All right, I got Grok making stuff for us. So, all right, Vince, specifically, what about the Vatican?
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Was 2020 to 2024 Biden a robot? Clone is what I hear more of, but yeah,
Yeah.
definitely the robot thing is one.
Or actor. I mean, there's different versions.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Good Lord. I love AI so much. AI is a good conspiracy too, but this is how fast I was able to come up with a Hollow Earth. See, I just made a little graphic. It's right there.
There you go.
It's all right there. Hollow Earth.
Ben Man says that Jimmy Carter was played by JFK.
Oh my, that okay. That's a crazy, ridiculous one. And then he lived to 100 plus.
No, yeah, his presidency was too bad to be JFK.
Okay, I'm doing a Hitler went to Argentina graphic.
Okay, Vince is saying about the Vatican. He's saying the gold. He must be talking about the tunnels. Full
Okay.
of gold and ancient secrets. I mean, ancient secrets. That's kind of a broad stroke there. I know what he's talking about with the gold, though.
Okay, I'll just put a Vatican picture in there. But I gotta upload another one here. All right, there's a Hitler in Argentina picture.
Mark's asking about Michelle Obama being a man. That has to be up there, right?
Yeah, just a second.
Are we allowed to debate that on YouTube?
Yeah.
As long as we're not a chef, right?
All right, hold on. I'm Grok's give me some more. So we got it. This is us setting the board, guys. You're helping us set the board.
Yep. And then we're gonna get into it.
And then we're gonna get into it. All right.
Okay, Vinman says the Bush family is the Kennedy family, and the Kennedy family is the Roosevelt family.
That's wild.
I don't know if that's worth debating.
Yeah, I don't know how much time I want to spend on that one, but oh my God. Wait till you see this graphic it gave me for Michelle Obama as a man. It put her with like another dude, like they're working out, but for some reason it's all in the jungle. But it's so small.
It's her brother on their podcast.
Yeah, it's so small you can't really see it on here. But
oh, I see it. Nice.
Let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger. All right, and then we need Vatican, right?
Vinman says that Hitler was played by Walt Disney.
No, Vinman is way like Vin. You got some crazy conspiracy theories. I've never heard any of these. He's
making me feel like a normie.
All right.
Barbara Bush is a man. I mean, we could go with all the transgender people.
Yeah, I would say with the well, that one could go kind of with like a global cabal.
Yeah, it kind of plays into other things.
Okay, I'm doing a picture of the Vatican.
One Love says Walmart underground tunnels. I've never heard of that.
Lots of underground tunnels. So, Gerald, if Elvis faked his death, I guess the question is, what was the point of him faking his death? Because I need something to talk about.
So,
I've heard that he's faked his death, but I never heard the reasoning.
Yeah,
there's
theories about a lot of people faking their death and going into witness protection.
Okay.
With Elvis, there's a pastor, I think in Kentucky or something, that people believe is Elvis.
Yeah. Okay, so somebody else brought up the tunnels under Denver, which I've read about that one before. Let's just do the tunnels everywhere.
Tunnels in general. There's a lot of tunnels.
Yeah, and so the actual location doesn't matter too much.
Are there tunnels or not?
All right, and then we gotta get to this. Get moving.
Bob Joyce, that's the name. Thanks, Nick. Bob Joyce is the pastor that they say is Elvis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they have like videos of him singing with the same kind of vibrato.
Shut up. I mean, if that's true, good for him because he started as a gospel singer.
People have questioned him, and of course, he's denied it.
All right, so we got the tunnels. All right, if we get any other big ones, guys, as we're going through everything, I can create a quick graphic and just get it up there. Thanks to Grok. But all right, Vince, do you want to get in this early, buddy, and just talk through it with us in general? You got a link.
He's got all the conspiracies.
I know, Vince. You're talking so much in the chat. Do you just want to jump in? All right, we're inviting you, so you can come in if you want. Just Mike, Jimmy Hoffa, P Diddy. I mean, P Diddy one will go with the. It'll just go in with the other elites and stuff.
Yeah.
What to do the one? All right, so Eric, we gotta pick. You want to?
Okay. What do
pick
we
a random one?
Well, before we start, can you kind of define the different tiers so people kind of understand?
Oh yeah. Okay, guys. So S tier is. We are so sure of this, and we believe it's already basically proven that there's no doubt in our minds. A tier is we feel pretty strongly about it, but we also wouldn't be surprised if it turns out not real. B is we just don't know. 50-50. We're like 50-50. We can see both sides. C is where we don't think it's real, but if somewhere out of nowhere it was suddenly proven true, we'd be like, okay, I guess like there's a hint. And F is false. There's just no way. We can never see this coming to truth. Never see this being real. So that's our tiers. And again, if anybody has thoughts, you can put them in the chat. And then as this goes on, if we have a specific section you're like really want to talk about, you have thoughts and you're a member, hit me up in the Discord or just type Discord in the chat and I will send a link for you to jump in and chat about the particular conspiracy theory.
I think Vince wants in.
All right, Vince, I sent you a link, bud. Just hit it. It'll send you straight in. I sent you the link on, you got to have a mic and you don't need a camera, but you got to have a mic, which your phone should work. And you just hit that link on, you might have to download Rumble. So that's the only thing. Okay. We'll get started while we're waiting for you. Eric, let's just start with 5G.
Cool.
The conspiracy about 5G. There's a few of them. And basically it's that 5G is trying to trigger stuff in our bodies, or even I've heard it even implanting like little nanobots in our bodies. I don't know. What have you heard about the 5G conspiracy?
So I've heard that they wanted to put up these towers, and what I heard is that the 5G would activate things that they put into the vaccine. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah. Yo, you can say that. Yeah.
Okay.
We just can't specifically say the vaccine doesn't work. You don't want to say that. That'll get you in trouble.
So here's my belief on this. I think that was probably what they planned in the beginning, but I think their plan was thwarted.
Yeah. So
because most of us are still here.
Those of us who are super conspiracy theorists, we believe, or at least I believe, like Eric said, that the 5G thing, there was truth to it. I don't know how far the truth is, but that with Trump coming in 2016, there was, along with Trump and other good actors worldwide, there was actually steps taken to make it not be able to make its effect. So Eric, I'm going to put it in, I feel like A, because I could still believe that there was nothing to it if the right evidence came out. What do you feel?
So are you saying A to that's what they wanted to do and they were thwarted, or
no? I'm saying A, that it likely was something
Okay.
but then it turned into nothing.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm there.
Whereas S would be like, oh yeah, it definitely was. I'm not quite there, but I'm not like 50-50. I think there was something. I
I
feel
think there
pretty,
was something, and they didn't have the ability to make it happen, or they got thwarted or something.
yeah. Okay.
That's
So we're on that. Anybody else have any 5G thoughts? Drop it in the chat. Um, oh man, people got lots of good ones here. All right, we're gonna go through in order, guys, and as we get to a subject, we will hit it up, and then at the end, we can introduce any ones we missed. Okay, so that's the best way to do it. So right now, you guys can see the order; it's right there. We're going to go through. We're going to discuss each one. If there's a point you want to make, just hammer it in the chat. If there's something we missed, throw it in the chat. If you disagree, throw it in the chat. Yeah, or if you agree with us, whatever, you can put it in there. But I'd love you guys to engage with us on this because it's fun, and there's plenty I don't know about this stuff too. All right, so 5G. I think everybody looks like nobody's fighting it. We'll see if anybody else does. But somebody said their naturopathic doctor told me it's bio warfare. Said Moody, and let's see. I thought I saw another one on it. Oh, One Love says the nanoparticles being rearranged. And Big B says, I build towers for a living. In early 2020, we were told we need to temp in as many sites as possible, and the deadline was sometime in March. You know what happened in March of 2020? Whoa. So there you go. Big B with the
Wow.
insider scoop.
Inside knowledge here.
5G. Well, that makes my A feel even better. My A ranking. Okay. 9/11. All right. Eric, you take the lead on this one. What's the conspiracy?
So the conspiracy is that 9/11 was an inside job, that airplanes did not fly into the towers, but there were explosions, although there's some versions where there were airplanes involved as well. That the Pentagon was hit by a cruise missile, and that it was done to stop certain things from coming to pass.
Yes. Also, it was used to usher in surveillance state,
Yep.
which the Patriot Act
Yep.
did. It was used to. I've heard that our economy was on the verge of collapse, and we created a war to rebuild our economy and take over stuff in Iraq, Iran, and obviously Afghanistan. And
Justification to go get the oil.
justification get oil, other stuff, other secret stuff over there, take over the opium trade for opiates. So yeah, there's a lot there. I'm going to say for 9/11. Well, actually, it's your turn.
I guess we have to define like what part of the conspiracy are we debating over?
Well, let's say, how about you pick where you want to put it, and then explain why.
Okay, so if we're debating about was 9/11 an inside job, I'd put it S.
Okay, explain yourself.
I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff around it,
Mm-hmm.
and Bush himself, there's video clips where he said explosions instead of plane crashes.
Yeah.
And apparently there's no debris. There was no like plane debris at the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's super weird. And I have heard, although I don't know if I believe it or not, that Osama was a CIA asset.
Mm-hmm.
Osama bin Laden. But yeah, I think that I personally think that President Bush, George W. Bush, was forced into it. I don't know if he would have chosen that on his own, or if these people have control over people. So
Yeah.
I've heard that it's more of his father that was putting things together, and they basically came to him and said, if you don't do this, then we're going to kill you.
Remember this picture in Epstein's house?
Yeah. Okay. See, that makes it even, that's why it's S tier.
Knocking down 2 towers.
That's why it's S tier.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on the S tier. What I'm going to say is that I don't know all the details.
Yeah.
But I think there's enough evidence to say 100% it was either completely an inside job or it was least allowed to happen. And I don't think there's any I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, I do think the planes, I mean, there's definitely people who died. And so I think the planes hit, but I don't think they are what knocked down the buildings. I think it was probably a missile that hit the Pentagon. And obviously Building 7 went down, World Trade Center 7. Listen, I just, there's too much weird stuff. They shorted the stocks ahead of time. Let's read some of these comments because they got good stuff too. One Love said firemen heard explosions in the tower before the collapse. Airline stock shorted, says Moody. Danny says 9/11 demo explosion theory makes sense, but did the media Photoshop in planes on the footage? I think the planes actually did hit. Kids were talking about the towers falling on Manhattan weeks before the incident, said One Love. Sean Hawkins says, should we be wearing our hats backwards? Probably. Connie is on the jury of 9/11, not an inside job. So Connie, that's interesting. What jury are you talking about? I would be interested on your perspective there. Born Free, what's up? Steve Bernard, what's going on? Mark says if building was faulty with floor support, building owner up the insurance policy, said Northcuts. That is true. Yep.
The thing is that Building 7 was several blocks away, and so why did
that one doesn't make sense?
Why did that fall? That doesn't make sense.
Nope, that one does not make sense.
Actually, 2 months ago was in the 9/11 memorial in New York.
Mm-hmm.
It's really well done.
Yeah, there's just too many. Obviously, real people died, so I don't want to take away from that. Obviously, there was terror aspects. However, they were pushed into it, or whether they were, I don't know all the details. I don't think anybody knows all the details. No. I think we all have pieces, but I'll say this happened 24 years ago. And in 24 years, I've seen too much. I've gone from somebody who completely believed you were nuts if you believed it was anything but terrorists that we need to go to war with. I was a full-on Bush, Warhawk, neocon type Republican, to now being like, there's no way this is what they said it was. So I just can't believe it. But I will say, I don't know how deep it goes. And I don't know how much, I don't know all the details of what to believe, what not to believe. I'll say that. But we can put it in S tier because it is definitely not what it's on, what they say it is on paper.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's S tier, because there's no way we got the full story on that one. All right. People got lots of thoughts on this one. Hero says Bush and Cheney knows what. Well, yeah, they definitely do. Northcut says one theory is a plane they fought back and took back in field in Pennsylvania. That was supposed to go into Building 7. Oh.
Whoops. No, well, they say that was supposed to go into the White House.
I thought that was but New York and DC aren't that far apart. So
that's the official story, is that was headed for the White House.
Yeah, they could have changed that story though. Because how would they know if it wasn't fully taken over?
Oh, we should have done the Mandela effect.
You want to do that one next?
Well, maybe add it to the end. That's a good one, though.
It's on there.
Is it?
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're good. Then we're good.
All right. Well, since we're so excited about that, any other thoughts on 9/11, guys? You can put it in the chat. But we're going to move on. unless somebody has some fire. Vince, did you ever figure out how to get on here, buddy? I sent you the link on X. I'm actually going to put the link. I think this should be more people jumping in. So I'm going to send the link to the members Discord. So if you're a member, you're going to have a shot if you want to jump in on this. Let me get the link real quick.
Actually, one cool thing about 9/11 is all the boats that are in the surrounding areas, like New Jersey and different places, they all came to help the people evacuate Manhattan. And to this date, it's the largest, how do they say it? It's the largest water evacuation in history, and it's just like the Coast Guard just put out a signal, and boats just from everywhere started coming, and they evacuated. I don't know how many, like 100,000 people in a short period of time, and it's just like totally volunteer people. Americans just stepping up when we need it the most.
Interesting.
It's a pretty cool story. I
That
saw.
is cool.
They have a little video in the memorial where they talk about that.
I love that stuff. That's great. That's great. Mike reminds us to smash the like button. Thank you guys. Smash, hit subscribe if you'd like. And let's see. Vin, I see some of your Twitter pics show up. I can't look at them all right now, but I will share some as we go. When I have more time to sort through.
Yeah, Moody is bigger than Dunkirk.
Vin always sends me great stuff. I will say that. But Winged Wolf said if real terrorists were in charge, they would have flown all aircraft into the IRS building and the Federal Reserve. But then we'd be better off.
Yeah. That's not terror. That's freedom.
Just Mike said he had a comment regarding Building 7 that's gone. Moody, Dunkirk, I think Eric said the biggest American. Dunkirk would have been the English.
It was bigger.
Really? Bigger than Dunkirk?
As far as how many people they evacuated in a short amount of time. Absolutely.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, Eric, you wanted to do Mandela effect, so I'm going to let you take this one and start again. You're going to get to do 2 in a row.
So I'll quickly explain it. So the theory of the Mandela effect is that there are certain shared memories that people have that end up being false. For example, some people remember the little guy from the Monopoly game having a monocle, but if you pull it up, he doesn't have that. Other people remember the Bernstein Bears, but if you look it up, it's actually the Berenstain Bears.
Yep.
And the name of the theory comes from some people, or a lot of people, I guess, having some sort of a memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison, although he clearly didn't die in prison. So
I never knew that was the beginning of it.
That's the beginning of it. Yeah.
I never knew that.
One explanation for that I heard was that there was like an example sentence in like a history textbook or something that everyone read where it says that he died in prison, but it's just like an example.
What?
And so like that got into the collective consciousness somehow.
That's crazy.
But it kind of goes into simulation reality theory and other things. Some people will say that like when they started doing these experiments smashing atoms, that it converged different like parallel universes. And so if you remember something that isn't in your reality right now, it's because you jumped over from a different parallel universe.
That's weird. That's okay. I never knew all the details on that. I knew just the remembering different things.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And obviously that's kind of the core of it, but and there's a few examples that they use, but it goes deeper into people postulating, why is this happening?
Wow.
And they say that it started in 2012 when they started the CERN atom smashing stuff.
The CERN, which one?
CERN, it's like that. Isn't CERN that thing where they smash atoms or whatever, and they try to like create a black hole or something?
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
Something,
yeah. Atom
something like
manipulation.
that.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
say that these false memories started then when people came in from other universes. And so people are out of place and have false memories. There's
All right.
actually a pretty decent low budget sci-fi movie about it.
Okay.
Anyways, that's the theory.
What's the name of the movie?
Mandela Effect.
Oh, for
I
some
think it's
reason,
on Netflix. It's either Netflix or Prime.
is there anybody famous in it?
No, it is super low budget, but I like those types of movies. Where they're like exploring different topics.
Is that what we call a Redbox rental?
Yeah.
Hold on a
if
second.
you're
I
old,
got
sure.
Vince calling in.
Okay.
What's up, Vince?
What's up?
All right, man.
Should I call you FaceTime or just do this?
Oh, this is fine. This is fine. So sometimes the Rumble link doesn't work. So Vince is calling in. Vince, we're talking Mandela effect right now.
Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait for my flat Earth, and well, you already went through 9/11.
Yeah, but you're good. Well, did you have any thoughts you wanted to add on 9/11 real quick?
There's absolutely. I watched a 4-part series on this. It was
Okay.
4 hours long, and there's no. And I said when it first got introduced to me, I said, "You're absolutely out of your mind. There's no way." I saw those 2 planes go into the building.
Yeah.
We all did.
And after each one, he explained, like he first showed the Pentagon, that was an absolute missile. If you notice the field in Pennsylvania, no fuselage,
Mm-hmm.
no engine, just a big burn mark, no remnants of when you look at, everybody's seen those planes go in, but did you? Did you actually see planes go in? It looked like planes went in, but with AI technology, that's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
And there's numerous videos out there there was a helicopter that shows just a big explosion, no plane went in.
Okay.
And he also broke down each and every person that was actually supposedly on the flight. And the whole wide of flight, the F-15s were never deployed. You keep saying that people die. Like those buildings.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, positively impossible for those buildings to fall at the speed that they fell down.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And there was only 3 buildings that ever came down due to a fire, and they were all on 9/11.
It's a great
Wow.
point.
That's it.
It's a great point. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I love it.
according to the
So I'm
poll,
guessing you agree with the S ranking.
Yes, absolutely. There's
Okay.
no doubt about it.
Okay, cool. All right. So we're doing Mandela effect, and Eric, I'm going to say on the Mandela effect that I just don't know enough on this one. So I'm going to go on a B, 50-50. Although I don't really believe in parallel universes, but I believe something could be messing with us from a, I don't know, other perspective, just messing with our brains all the time on purpose. So there could be something to it. But that would be my thoughts. What about, do you have any more on that, Eric? Thoughts up there?
I would put it in C. I don't believe it.
C. Okay. And is that why? Can you say why?
Because I also don't believe in parallel universes.
Okay.
And I think that these certain things can be explained. Someone in the chat said something very interesting. Oh, Here at Large said, the Monopoly guy isn't Mr. Peanut. I think it's possible that people are getting those two confused.
That's a good point. That's
And
absolutely
so
good.
Peanut's
And
got
it is true that our memories play tricks on us. It happens all the time.
another
If
one
you're
that
married, you definitely know that.
another example that they use is with the Fruit of the Loom logo.
Uh-huh.
Is that a lot of people remember it with a cornucopia, but the actual logo is just fruit. There's no cornucopia.
Another one.
I've never heard that. I hear Vince.
I pulled it away.
No, you're good. Vince, just do this. If you're not talking, why don't you just mute yourself so that way you can listen. And then whenever you want to talk, you can unmute. Okay. So Donkey says there's a video of them still being around with slightly different names or being their own twin on
You're talking about the
space shuttle. Oh, they're talking about Challenger now. Oh yeah, the Challenger is an interesting one. Yeah, Eric, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to move it down. I'm going to end on
think it's
C as well. I think the parallel universe thing is just too much for me as well, and that comes obviously from being just a person of faith. Yeah. So, but and because people's memories mess with them. Okay, all right, my turn to pick one. Well, this is why this is what the big one Vince wants to do. So Vince, we're bringing you in, buddy. It's flat Earth time.
Let's go.
And so this is yours. And I know you have all the stuff, but give us your best argument without every single detail.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So I just went on a plane with my kids. We went to Cancun. Mm-hmm. And I challenged them. I says, look, I'm going to go up to the cockpit. I'm going to ask the pilot if any of his instruments calculates the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah.
Okay? And I says, before I do that, I says, while we're up in the air, I says, I want you to look down. Look at the ground. Is it moving?
Yeah.
And it's not. I says, look out in the sky. Look straight ahead. I says, do you see any curvature? None. So we went and I asked the pilot, I says, did any of your instruments calculate the curvature of the Earth? No. I says, when you're flying at 30,000 feet, do you angle your nose down not to go out in the outer space? No. Is it flat or is it round? Flat. Okay. I mean, I can show. I mean, I could show you things like when you see a ship go over the sea and it disappears. You're thinking, okay, it went over the curve, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a high-powered lens, you can still see it. How's that possible? How is it possible that? I mean, how do you land a plane if we're going 1,000 miles per hour, spinning 1,000 miles per hour? How do you land? How do you go across the country? if you're spinning 1,000 miles an hour from from east to west or west to east, how do you go across the country if your plane is going 500 miles per hour, but yet we're going 1,000 miles per hour the opposite direction? That's not possible. There's just too many things you never see. Like if you see what Elon's launching these missiles, you never see him go out into space. You see him go up, and you see him go out. And if you remember, where NASA was always launching their missile, their launch pad was in Florida. It was also right next to Florida, Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Okay, why is that? So you can launch a rocket, throw it in the ocean, no one can see it.
Okay.
I mean, I can go on and on. I could show you videos of them launching a rocket into the firmament. I could show you where you could, just a light tower. If you have a light tower, it wouldn't work because of the curvature of the Earth. You could see the light tower 45 miles away. If there was a curvature, the most you could see it was maybe 10 at the most. I've been in Michigan looking at the skyline in Chicago, which would be impossible.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so you say it would be impossible. I would want to. I don't have the math in front of me of how far you can actually see. So I love, just for everybody who knows, Vince and I go back and forth on this all the time. I love debating this with him. He always sends me very interesting stuff. I always come back. I have questions that just have not been answered. So I'd like, Vince is like, would be an A on this or an S, and I would be a D or F. So this is why I wanted Vince to be on, though, because this is what it's fun about conspiracy theories, is because there is enough out there where very smart people can see things two different ways. And so that's what Vince is arguing. And Vince, you're always like, the main thing you always come back to is basically the whole argument that gravity could explain the spinning of the Earth and how we're fine on Earth and that's not affected. That's something that just you cannot accept, correct?
Okay, well, think of this too. Everybody's hit a tennis ball when it's wet, right?
Mm-hmm.
At one point in time in your life, you've been on a tennis court and you hit a ball and it's wet and you see the water coming off the ball. Think of this.
Yeah.
You're saying The Earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour, going around the sun 66,000 miles per hour, while the sun is traveling through space at 526 million miles per hour.
Yeah.
But yet, I'm standing outside and I'm looking at a tree. It's not moving.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no possible. When it was explained to me, I thought this person was crazy. When it was explained to me, he goes, I want you to just, if you came into a room and you never heard anything about flat Earth or the solar system, and I gave you the two theories, and you didn't know either one, you'd be like, you're out of your mind. You're telling me we're traveling 7 times the speed of sound?
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. But yet you were indoctrinated when you were a little kid. The first thing you seen is that the whole solar system when you were 5 years old, when you first walked in.
So
if you go to an encyclopedia from 1950, I want to say 52. Before 52, it all explains that the Earth is flat. But after that, it went to the whole solar system. Go ahead.
Well, there's writings from like certain even Greek scholars who say that it was, had discovered it was flat using mathematics. And so I would disagree with you on that. Now, I'm not saying that there wasn't some encyclopedias that said that, or there was debates. I've seen the stuff. Don't get me wrong. I've definitely seen a lot from what you've sent me and other stuff. I've investigated this quite a lot. And I still haven't been satisfied. And, a couple of things I always come back to, Vince, and I've told you this, is that I cannot get over the seasons, how we can be in winter and Australia's in summer. That just doesn't make sense if we're flat. And
that's exactly why it's true. How do you have different seasons on the same planet?
Well, if we're round, that would make sense.
Okay, no, it doesn't. Because if the sun is 93 million miles away, by the way, who took up the tape measure to figure that out? They say it's 93 million miles away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but yet when you look at the sun coming through the clouds, it comes in on an angle. Mm-hmm. Where if it was 93 million miles away, it comes straight, perpendicular. Okay,
well, again,
the angle is in the Earth.
As far as seasons are concerned, it's all based on the rotation of. We're not moving. The sun is moving. The sun moves in a circular formation.
Yeah, but the problem of that, Vince, is that would mean the sun is on
one side of the Earth. And yes.
No, it's not just one side of the Earth. It would have to be in a very specific rotation, and it would have to be. It still actually fully wouldn't account in a fully different season, because if we're flat, the sun the heat would spread unless the Earth is much bigger than we believe it is. It would have to be much, much bigger in order for that, for the heat and everything to travel. And I just have trouble with that, because I've traveled the Earth. And so I don't think it's much bigger than we've been told.
If it's feasible that when the sun is moving, let's say in a circular, around the flat Earth in a circular motion,
mm-hmm.
right? And then in a different season, it goes wider. So that's why in Australia has summer and we have winter, and vice versa, because they're more closer to the outer edge of the Earth, where when the sun is going wider, it's right over them. That's summer, and for us, it's winter because it's farther away, and vice versa. During our summer, it's winter. That would make more sense than us traveling 7 times the speed of sound.
But there's another problem here, Vince. It's that if the Earth is flat, there would be no curvature to control the different light from the sun. So no matter where the sun was over the Earth, there would still be light. So there wouldn't.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true, Vince. According to how light travels, that is true. Unless there's something to block light.
Look at it like a flashlight. If I take a flashlight and I point it straight down, that's where your majority of the sun you will see. And as it rotates around, that's why you get the different.
Well, that would make the sun actually extremely weak then, because a flashlight, the reason it dies out is because it's so weak. And
I'm using it as it comes down. That's the way the sun perpetuates down. As far as for your argument, I mean, you explained this. This is like your whole thesis. Not, that you can go out and look at a pond and it's perfectly still, but yet you think we're going,
Well,
seven
but see,
billion
that's
miles per
because
hour.
I believe in the theory of gravity, and so that explains that. But
Okay, but if you believe in gravity, and yet if you I want to make it real simple for everybody, just to understand what you believe. Grab your calculator from your phone while you're listening to me. Okay, I want you to punch in these numbers: 1,000 times 56,000 times 526,000. That's how fast we're moving, according to them. But yet I'm standing outside right now looking at a plant. It ain't moving.
I know,
How
but
do you? But
well,
like,
because if there is an
extremely,
if there's an extremely strong atmosphere, it does make sense.
You're saying
Now hold on, Vince. Hold on, Vince. This is not an argument. This is a conversation.
Sorry. Go ahead.
If you believe in, and I know you believe in this, so I believe in the atmosphere being very strong. You believe in the actual firmament, firmament theory. So if there's a firmament protecting over us, then that in theory would also protect us from wind shear and stuff from traveling so quickly, so fast.
This is true. So which do you believe? Do you believe there's a firmament, or do you believe that there's an atmosphere?
I believe there's an atmosphere that acts as a firmament for atmospheric changes, but not necessarily a hard. I don't necessarily believe it's like a hard mountain covering over us, but I do believe that it is tough. I know that for a fact, if there's something very difficult to pierce through in our atmosphere, that is a fact. Whether you believe it's something hard or whether you believe it's a very strong atmosphere that stuff burns up through, everybody agrees on that. There's no disagreement on that. Well, yeah, they do, because even NASA or Musk. I mean, even if you watch movies, space movies, when they're entering the atmosphere, things are burning up.
Okay, all right. There's a lot to unpack what you just said, but let me.
We'll keep it simple, okay, Vince. We're talking the simple debate here.
Okay, but you're saying, all right. So you're saying there's some magical atmosphere up above us that keeps us still while we're traveling 1,000 miles an hour times 56,000 miles an hour times 526 miles per hour, but yet we can't feel it. That's your theory. That's your argument. Is there some magic barrier up above us that we can leave when we want with a space shuttle and a rocket, but yet it protects us from going 1,000 miles an hour times 56,000 miles an hour times 526 miles per hour, yes, which is 7 times the speed of sound.
Well, to be fair, Vince, that's the exact that makes just as much sense as there being a hard firmament over us while there's also ice walls around us.
Yeah, but I can show you proof of it.
Well, you've sent me stuff and I haven't accepted. It hasn't felt like proof because it still hasn't explained certain things. Anyways, we can't do this all night. But I love that you came on, Vince, and I know there's actually people that are listening right now who agree with you. So I'm going to, Vince, you would have this in S, right? You are just firmly convinced.
Yes.
Okay, so Vince would have this S. Eric, let's get your thoughts.
C minus.
Okay, so Eric,
I'm convinced.
Eric, what would be your... Because you've heard me and Vince, what would be your biggest? We're going to keep it quick because we got to move to the next thing. Sure. What's your biggest hang up?
My biggest hang up is most of this time y'all have been talking about the atmosphere and not the atmos flat.
What?
In the name.
Okay. I don't. Okay. So he would be C.
Maybe F.
Okay. We're all like, let me ask the chat here because this is a hotly contested one. So, Mandela effect, Eric, surprisingly, 57% of the crew or 55% believe in the Mandela effect.
I'm not surprised.
All right. So, flat Earth.
By the way, Vince, you're looking great tonight.
We got your stick figure up. Okay. So, I'm going to see what comes in from the crowd here because this is definitely our most hotly debated hotly debated one. But I mean, I will say, like, as playing devil's advocate to my own argument,
Thanks, Eric.
it whether we're flat or we're round, it is a miracle how the Earth works. That is a fact. Nobody can deny that either way, flat or round. And so that is definitely there. So, all right. And so because Vince was so passionate and developed so well, I'm just going to put it right here in the middle. I would lean a little more towards Eric, but Vince's passion towards the S, I think we'll just put it right there in the middle, because I will say that I know more passionate people about Flat Earth than almost any other conspiracy. So we'll leave it at that. Vince, do you want to still hang out for thoughts on other stuff?
I'm still hang out with you.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Keep it on, I'll mute it, and when I want to jump in, I'll jump in.
That's perfect. Sounds
Cool.
good. All right, Eric, we took a long time on that one, so you can pick the next one.
Okay. Let's see. Let's do. Let's go. Since we're doing Earth, can we go to Hollow Earth, or do we need a break?
No, we can do Hollow Earth.
Let's do it.
Oh, by the way, okay, so let's just go ahead and knock out Hollow Earth and Moon Landing since it's all on the same subject. But go ahead, do Hollow Earth first.
No, Moon Landing is not the same subject.
Well, that's all about the Earth.
Okay.
And lies, because Moon Landing goes a lot with Flat Earth.
True.
So go Hollow Earth.
Or it doesn't go with Flat Earth. So Hollow Earth is like if Flat Earth wasn't weird enough for you. It takes a step further. So there's a couple stories that they have. One story is that there was this Danish guy who went with his son and they went north, and they ended up in some other place inside the earth, I guess. So the dad eventually died, and the son was coming back and got rescued. He says that his father and him lived for 2 years inside the earth in some kingdom inside. And
a kingdom?
Yeah. To give you a reference, the movie Godzilla versus King Kong explored this. But so as soon as he started telling people that, he got put in a insane asylum for 28 years. Jeez. And kind of lived the majority of his life there. Another story, and I've seen this a lot in the chat tonight, is there's this guy named Admiral Byrd who actually he was a real guy, and he flew in World War I and World War II, and he's highly decorated. Well, he, I guess, was the first person to fly over both poles. And after he died, his son released what he claims is his journal, saying that he was sworn to secrecy, but, he let the cat out of the bag. And in the journal, he talks about flying over the poles, and then it becomes green and lush, and some alien craft type things came alongside him and took him to their leader and whatever, and had a message for, the U.S. government or whatever. So there's a few branches off of this theory. It goes into like ancient Hindu and Buddhist kind of mythology, where they say, some people will go and say that there's most of them say there's advanced races inside the earth. And that's where aliens and UFOs come from. Uh-huh. Some of them will say that it's the kingdom of Agartha, which is from Hindu mythology, and they also talk about Shambhala as the capital city. They talk about giants living down there, and they also talk about Nagas, which are like snake people, who apparently
reptile people.
Yeah, who can communicate telepathically with the lamas in Tibet. So it can get a little weird and off in the corner, but I don't want to say that everyone who believes in Hollow Earth believes in Nagas, but just
I
to
knew
let
there's
you
something
know,
up with those llamas, man.
there's a lot of
Those darn,
diversity
those darn llamas.
and so basically, most people who believe in this will agree that there are entrances at the poles, and that's why
Mhm.
planes don't fly
This is
there.
like Journey to the Center of the Earth stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
And some will say that there are other entrances, and different peoples like the lamas guard, Dalai Lamas guard certain portals and entrances down into the earth.
Yeah.
But that's the gist. There's a lot of diversity in it.
Mhm.
So there's, different branches of it. Not everyone's under the same umbrella, but those are kind of some of the things that I ran into.
Wild. That's wild.
And that
Okay.
was a large waste of a lot of time during.
Yeah. Well, the llama thing made it all worth it. Vince, you unmuted. Did you have a thought? Quickly. No. All right. Well, if you do, jump back in. I'm just gonna do Hollow Earth a flat F. I just don't think there's anything to it. I mean, if you really like the Godzilla Kong movies that much, that's awesome. But I just don't. I can't. Doesn't mean there's not like giant caves or tunnels or weird stuff going on, but I just cannot do the whole Hollow Earth thing. I don't think there's anything.
I didn't even get to
it.
the weirdest part.
Oh, please do.
So there is a branch of Hollow Earth theory that says that we are not the outermost ring of civilization in the earth.
Oh, this is part of the flat Earth too. If you go past the ice wall, there's like other civilizations and stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
No.
But they'll, how okay, imagine Kong and Godzilla, and they go inside the earth, right?
Sorry about that.
It's okay, Vince. We'll get to you in a sec.
I'm just gonna
go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. So how in Kong and Godzilla they go inside the earth?
Yeah.
Well, there's a theory that we're actually inside the earth. There's like outer layers beyond us.
Wow. So the sky is just the bottom of. I mean, that's amazing. Okay, Vince, what were you gonna say?
I didn't even get to. I was gonna say that Admiral Byrd was an explorer, and he took a fleet to Antarctica.
Yes.
And he did do like interviews afterwards, and I guess they got their asses kicked when they went to Antarctica. Is not an actual. It's not an actual. It's more of an ice wall, and there's a spot where he went through. Talked about where he went through, and there's also supposedly. I'm not saying I believe in this, but that's where the Hollow Earth is down at the South Pole.
Gotcha. So I will say the Admiral Byrd stuff I've looked at, it's very strange and interesting. I will also say that I think it'd be very difficult to believe in flat Earth and Hollow Earth at the same time.
That's what I was going to say. Hollow Earth kind of assumes.
I'm not saying I do believe in.
Oh, I didn't say you did, Vince. I was just saying in general. Yeah. I don't know how anybody could wing.
It assumes a spherical Earth, so they're
it assumes a spherical Earth. Yeah. So
but they do share in that they don't believe the standard story.
Gotcha. Okay. We have a new watcher, Igoris. Welcome. He says there are other civilizations beyond our capability, Rich, and that's listen, man. If you believe that, that's awesome. I will. You know what? Because of Igoris, I think there's just no way. But let's just say there could be something in a small portion of the Earth. I guess I could possibly see one day we discover something. I'll move it up to C. Just because of the small possibility, I think, of they're finding something. But as far as the actual full Earth and it being just massively whole civilizations, I can't go that far. But could there maybe be some pocket where there's something interesting that Admiral Byrd found or somebody else, and it's something there? Yeah, but I can't get into the talking llamas stuff like that.
So I want to make sure I'm clear on that. I'm talking about like the Dalai Lama and the Buddhist monks up there.
Oh, you said the llamas. I thought you meant like
Sorry. Yeah,
llamas.
well,
Like
there's like multiple llamas within.
I thought you meant like the Emperor's New Groove was a true story.
No,
No.
sorry, man. Sorry to disappoint you.
Oh man, that was way more fun.
It's not part of the theory. However, things are still developing, so you could put it in there.
Okay, so there's somebody putting like string theory. It could be another dimension. Yeah, stuff like it's
Like the
interesting.
chat is pretty in sync with that. But
There, yeah, that's mostly no's on
I
that
think
one, but
I think it should be in the F file.
I would say that one's really difficult to. Well, if we're saying like it's a whole like world down
think
there,
it's
yeah, I'd say
advanced
F.
civilizations.
Okay, let's do a couple of these quick. Let's do the moon landing and then a couple other smaller ones I can quick. Okay, so I'm going to put moon landing. I'm just going to jump moon landing up to A. I'm not 1,000% sure we never went, but I'm like 95% sure at this point.
I am
I've
F
seen
100%.
you're 100%. Okay, well then
Yeah.
A is the right place because I reserve a little doubt. Because and I guess it's just the old school American in me that wants to believe we did it, and I'm still hanging on to that a little bit. So
So is the little doubt that you leave for that the ability of us to lose the technology? Since
no, that's why I'm 95%. We didn't.
Okay.
I mean, but that 5% is that I just believe all the excuses. It's not that I believe the excuses, but that they actually turn out true, and that we just were that stupid. We tossed out how to do it. We other crazy stuff. I mean, I'm there. I think this is going to be a fun one in the chat. I think this one will be a probably a 50-50.
I was gonna guess that's
Did we go to the moon? Here we go. Let's see what the chat says. I'm interested on this one. So it's already coming in as strong nose. So maybe that's just going to tell us a lot about our chat here. But yeah, I mean, obviously, there's so many reasons to believe we didn't go at this point. But I grew up as a kid, the On Wonder, Apollo 13, the movie, Lance Armstrong, not Lance Armstrong, Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong definitely didn't go to the moon unless the steroids took him there. But yeah, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, just like that, it's just so Americana. I want to, and just deep inside, I want Trump to like release the files and be like, we actually went, guys. And that would make me very happy.
But that's impossible because we didn't.
Hero at Large says one of the astronauts told a kid we didn't go.
I believe it.
That. I told a kid, really. Vinman asked, did OJ go to Saturn? Danny Jagalt says, Chewie was a paid actor wearing a costume. Ewoks are real. Gotta believe it. Just gotta believe it. I love it. Okay, so 70% say no so far, so that's interesting. But okay, we'll leave it there on A, just because there's still the chance. We have to allow for the chance it really happened.
No,
but yeah, well, okay.
Sorry, man.
All right, let's do one more quick. This one should be pretty quick, but cryptids.
I don't know what that is.
That's like Bigfoot.
Oh,
stuff like that.
Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, like monsters walking the earth, basically. Yeah, exactly. So, where would you rank it?
Well, I don't know if you can put them all together. I do believe in Loch Ness Monster. I do not believe in Bigfoot.
You believe in the Loch Ness Monster? Really?
I do.
You got to tell me. You got to tell me.
I think it was a plesiosaur.
And you think it's just stuck there, still alive?
Yeah. Dinosaur. Well, I believe in a young Earth, so that's not difficult stretch.
Well, no, I get that. I just like, how would this plesiosaur still be alive without having procreated all these years? And it just so you're saying it's like 5,000-6,000 years old? It's still chilling?
No. Why would you think there's only one there?
I don't know. They say there's only one.
No, you're assuming. There's a little family that lived in the
I thought
lake,
this was going to be an easy one, Eric.
but I don't believe in Bigfoot, so
Oh my God.
not into that. Don't believe in mermaids. What are other cryptids?
Well,
Yetis
that
are
people
kind of a
actually
secret.
believe are walking around the earth right now. I don't think there's that many.
I don't
that I
believe
know of.
Nestle's still alive though.
All right. You know what? I'm just going to put it 50-50 because I think there's possibilities. Although I would say that nowadays with satellites and everything we can check on, I mean, like the amount of people looking for this stuff, I just find it very, very difficult to believe any of it's real. Even Nessie. No, I'm going to go see. And I'm only leaving it as not an F because of you and your belief.
There you go. I'm holding us up.
Okay. Some of these are going to be easy because we definitely, I know it's a lot. We're going to get some S's here soon.
Okay.
All right. Well, actually, I picked a couple in a row, Eric. What's your turn?
Let's see. I guess we should do an easy one to start blazing through these. How about MK Ultra? Yes, it exists.
Okay. I mean, I think that's
Clearly.
been proven by now.
I think it's been admitted to.
Yeah. So you want to just describe it real quick for anybody?
Yeah.
Who's
So
new?
MK Ultra was, I don't know if it's a CIA or whatever program that they were experimenting on people to see how to control, basically how to mind control people.
Yep.
So they used a combination of images, torture, and psychedelic drugs, especially LSD, and were able to, discover certain ways to control people to do crazy things that they normally wouldn't do.
Yeah.
So yes, it was a
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, to do
Hopefully-
assassinations, to do, a lot of people think that Manson
Yep.
was one of the first major MK Ultra people. And if you read the book Chaos, it is insane. Did you read that book?
I did, yeah.
The book is crazy.
It's
And
nuts.
it's definitely, I think that MK, there's been files on this stuff now. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's 100% true. The efficacy and efficiency of it, that could be debated in my opinion. But as far as actually, was there an MK Ultra program and was it carried out for decades? Yes, it's definitely true.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to do this one. Eric, is there a cure for cancer being hidden from us?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, look at all the technology and advancements in medicine, everything we have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, some people have reported curing cancer through eating more naturally or doing different diets or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that if they did find a cure to cancer, which I think they probably have by now,
Yeah.
that it's very easy to see that they would keep it away from us.
Yes, it would. All kinds of profits and stuff would be taken away. The Cancer Society almost went bankrupt in the late 70s already because there was so little cancer. And then, hey, amazingly, we have a huge cancer outbreak the next 40 years.
And the treatment for cancer is extremely expensive.
Yep. And it's horrible for your health. If that doesn't kill you, then the cancer might. Yeah, I'm going to say that, like, I'm not 100% that we have a definite cure. Do we have a lot of things that could cure cancer in many situations? But do we have that 100% cure? I'm going to say that's my only doubt. But as far as do we have what we need to cure most cancers? Yeah, I believe we do.
Yeah, I think A is appropriate.
I absolutely believe we do. I got a couple people here jumping in on this moon debate real quick. I wanted to read them. Fox Hunter, he says, we landed on the moon. The Soviets went there not too long after and took a picture of our U.S. flag. They could have checkmate us right in there. Are you saying they did or didn't checkmate us with the flag, Aaron?
If we didn't go to the moon, neither did the Soviets.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that. I want to
That's the
be. I don't think it'd be hard for them to fake either. But especially with as bad as the footage was back then. But I listen. That's why I'm not 100% like Eric. That's why I'm 95% right now, because I still allow. And I still want it to be true that we went, because it's so cool. Danny Jagal says Tremors in 1986 Critter movies had me thinking those were real as a kid. Yeah, or Harry and the Hendersons. Don't forget that classic.
That was an awesome movie.
Donkey at a China Shop says Apollo 12 said moon rang like a bell for over an hour after they crashed stage into it on takeoff. Rang like a bell. Donkey, can you explain that one more? Vince, I hear you. What you got?
I was going to say on the, sorry about that. What were you just talking about?
We jumped back and forth. We did Cancer Cure, and then we went back to the moon for a couple comments.
Oh, the moon. That you're talking about going to the moon in the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
With computers that were like the Commodore 64.
Yeah, I know.
Who filmed Neil Armstrong?
They weren't even playing Pong yet.
No, and who filmed him getting off, saying "one small step for man, one small step for mankind"? Who was out there holding the camera?
That's a great question. Nobody has an answer. That's true.
That's it. I'll go back to listening.
That's perfect, Vince. Thank you. That was great.
Yep.
Jim Boswell says many ancient cultures claim there was a time when Earth had no moon.
I've never heard that.
In the manual. I've never heard that, Jim, but I am actually fascinated to read that. World and collision. Okay, I'm going to try to remember that, Jim, because I would love to actually just see, because I've never heard that. So I'm fascinated to learn where he pulls all that from. Okay, Eric, let's pick a quick one here. Ancient aliens.
No.
I agree with you. No.
Neither ancient nor modern.
Let's just talk about aliens for a second. I think I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe there's even Elon Musk said there's like no evidence of aliens, and him and I have very differing beliefs. I will say that I think what people experience as aliens, because I do think people have had experiences, but I think it's dimensional with the demonic. That's what I believe, or maybe the angelic too. But that's what I believe. I do believe you can explain it from a biblical worldview, like mine and Eric's. But as far as actual aliens from other planets visiting us, messing with our world, anything like that, I think it's 100% no. I don't even have a little bit of doubt about it. But Eric, should we just leave the openness of just a small possibility by putting it in C?
I am pure F on this one.
You are? Okay. I know that the chat is going to disagree with us, so we're going to have to leave it in C. But I will say,
put it to poll.
I am going to put it to poll.
We should announce the
95% of people believe they're hiding the cure for cancer.
Wow.
So that means that a lot of people are waking up to that idea. Holy smokes! I was
surprised at the moon poll. I thought it would be more 50-50. It was 62% said we haven't gone to the moon.
Yeah, the moon one was strong. Yeah, tells you who watches my shows. We're all tracking, baby. Let's see. Jake wants to get in the Discord. Jake, were you on last night? Listen, Jake, if you're going to get back in the Discord, man, you're going to have to be more respectful. So I'll talk to you about it. Jim, Earth is the only planet that has a solar eclipse in our solar system. Diameter of moon is a quarter of Earth's diameter. So Jim, what are you saying that moon is then? That's my question. What about you? Blake says, what about the illegal ones for aliens? That's funny. Oh, Jim's saying the moon could be an alien space station. What? That's very interesting. Okay, so Eric, you and I are firmly in the minority so far on the aliens one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's almost 60%.
Whoa.
There are aliens. I'm going to leave that one up for a little bit. So hey, if you want to vote, get in on that vote. because I do want. So we are firmly in the minority so far, and that's okay. That's okay. The chat, you guys. Well, I'll see where the chat ends up. But if the chat ends up over 60%,
I mean, it's pretty
I'll
even.
move it up to B. I'll move it up to B.
It's pretty even.
So let's move on. But you guys can keep voting on that. Danny says biowarfare diseases and cancer cures are in certain buildings and naval bases. I mean, I can believe in that. Yeah. The Anunnaki. What about them, Moody? All right, let's keep moving here. Eric, so all right, Area 51. I'm guessing just the conspiracy is I mean, we know it exists. Do you know what the conspiracy is? Because we already talked to aliens.
Well, it's in the same vein. The conspiracy is that an alien crashed and they're holding their technology there and keeping it a secret.
Okay. So since we already talked to aliens, let's just use Area 51. Let's make it mostly focus on the technology part. Are they hiding technologies from us? I think that's 100% yes.
I mean, Area 51 is strictly alien technology.
Is that all it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Without aliens, there's no Area 51 conspiracy.
But there is an Area 51.
There is. And we don't know what's there. But the conspiracy theory about it is that they found an alien craft and that they're keeping it there.
Like an Independence Day, they go down there and there's
Correct.
No magnetic. Well, because of just the technology aspect, I'm going to put it in B.
If you're just talking about technology hidden from us, 100%, but that would not be Area 51.
Yeah, I get it. I'm going to just put it there just because of the technologies, and I'm just curious on those. All right, Eric, you haven't picked in a while. What do you want to talk about?
Let's see. So many good ones. Reptilians.
Okay, reptilians is good. I like this. All right. Where would you put the reptilian theory?
F. There are no
explain yourself.
There's no reptilians. Sorry.
All right. So the reptilian is the belief that not only is there bad actors in our world, people who do terrible things against us, all that, but they are actually a different race that is not human.
Sorry.
And they have either masks or holograms or whatever to make them look human. You can catch them with their eyes sometimes. These people, the belief is that like anybody we don't like who's been doing terrible things, whether it's Hillary Clinton or George Soros or whoever, they are actually reptiles. And then in the picture, it's got Mark Zuckerberg. Again, yeah, I don't see any way. Well, we're going to get into some of the stuff on this when we talk about the New World Order and the deep state. But do I believe they're actually different species? No, I don't think there's anything to it.
Maybe it's just the Nagas talking to the llamas.
Yeah. Moody writes, the Anunnaki are theorized by some to have altered our DNA early in our evolution to create workers through their mining. So there would be aliens or reptiles and that as well. Robert Hicks says, I'm guessing there's a lot of Star Wars fans in here or Trekkies. Probably, although not that many Trekkies apparently, because the aliens now at 41 votes is firmly in the know with 56%.
We won.
So we are winning and we get to keep it down here at C.
Yeah.
So that so far. Okay, so I'm going to end that one and I'm going to ask about reptiles now. Because I am curious how many of my viewers believe in the reptilian theory. Are there reptilian people? I'm very interested to see where this one goes.
Yeah. So
Jim, I'm definitely going to check out those books. Velikovsky. Those sound very interesting.
the reptilians, they're mostly, accusing the elites of being these reptile creatures.
What's that?
With the reptilians, the theory
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that the elites are these reptilians and that they're like secretly controlling us. It's kind of a parallel to the deep state theory.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and do the deep state since it ties into reptilians and it ties into New World Order. So let's just knock out all three of these.
Cool.
Okay, the deep state. So the deep state, yeah, the deep state is the theory. There is a group of people embedded into positions of power, especially in our government and governments worldwide in the West, especially, that actually control everything, making it so that we don't really have democracy or even a constitution. I mean, to me, there's no doubt there's a deep state. The debate is how powerful are they really, but I don't think that the debate is there a deep state? Thoughts?
I think we're doing really good on the reptilian poll.
Are we? Yeah. Yes, good, strong.
But on the deep state, yeah, it's been obvious for a while now, especially with COVID. It was on display. Everybody saw it who had eyes to see and ears to hear. Yeah. And looks like we're winning that battle.
We're even watching it right now as Trump keeps trying to get stuff done.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's
deep
crazy.
Goes deep. It's pervasive.
So I would say absolutely S. I'm not even going to poll that one because I know it'll be 90 plus in our group.
Just pull it so we can feel good.
No, we don't need to feel good on that one. I think that one's pretty. Anybody who watches this is watching it because they believe in the deep state. Mostly anybody who watches my channel. Yeah. So, all right, but that brings us to New World Order. And Eric, when you hear New World Order, what do you think? As
George H.W. Bush, because he's the one who said it.
Yeah.
So I think it's the conspiracy theory that there is a plan. I think it's like the New World Order is the plan of the deep state. So if you don't believe in the deep state, you can't believe in New World Order. But New World Order is what they want the Earth to look like. They have a certain number of people they want to have that they can control, and do they control everything and do whatever they want. So I think it's just the plan of the deep state.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree with you. I will add the extra addendum that in the Western Christianity, the New World Order is kind of looked at as like the ultimate goal for Satan, and that they believe in their theology, which, I am a Christian, but I don't have this end times theology. The belief is that there will ultimately be a New World Order that happens and destroys us or makes life miserable for us, and then that's what Jesus has to come back and destroy in order to save the world. I believe 100% there's a New World Order attempt being made, and that it's a real thing, despite my disagreements with how successful they'll be. Eric, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with. You and I have a similar eschatology, so I don't believe that. Most people who subscribe to that would be looking for some sort of a one world government.
Yes, and that's what I meant.
Yeah, everything Same united thing. Under one governing body. I don't believe that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
So
however we come at it, Eric and I believe in this 100%. Or would you say that? Would you agree with that? That it's an actual thing they're trying to do, or?
Yeah, I guess how would like, if I'm correct saying that the New World Order out of the mouth of George H.W. Bush
Yeah.
is what the deep state wants to enact, then
Yes.
if you believe in the deep state, you have to believe in New World Order, right?
I would agree with that. And
They
so
have
what I would
sort of
say,
a plan that they're going towards.
exactly. I actually think in many ways, although it's not consummate. It's not like they've gotten to where they wanted to go. But in many ways, we've had a new world order since the UN was established after World War II,
Correct.
the League of Nations. And what I actually believe is happening right now is that the new world order got as far as it could go. And now it's being systematically dismantled.
Reverse.
And that's why things are crazy.
Agree.
So, but we would both agree that there's 100% that there is something to the new world order conspiracy.
There's a plan that they had, and
Yeah.
That's what they've been trying to do. Yep.
Okay, great. And I think again, this is just like deep state. Almost everybody here would agree with that. So that there's something to the new world order. And if anybody wants to add anything on that, oh Vince, I hear you. What you got?
Well, you just mentioned about a certain amount of people. What was that like sculpture in Georgia?
Georgia Guidestones.
Georgia Guidestones. Yep.
500 million people is what they want on
Did they
Earth.
get destroyed by lightning?
Well, they don't. Yeah, lightning
Somebody
or
destroyed it.
or something.
Or violence.
Yeah, something crazy. Yeah, but they never called out who destroyed it, if it was lightning or not,
or who built it.
Yeah. Exactly. You're 100% right. And the Georgia Guidestones were actually a very much a description of what they wanted. Get our population down to 500 million and all this other crazy stuff. So,
and going back to the New World Order, before I get off, the China after Tiananmen Square, they were on the brink.
Mm-hmm.
In Bush, I want to say it was either Bush or that fat guy, the Secretary of State, went over there and saved them and said, "Hey, look, you're gonna be the popular, you're gonna be like the cheap labor. We're gonna rescue you, and we're gonna create this whole new world order."
Yeah, I've never heard that story actually. That's interesting.
I'll find it.
Yeah, find it and share it with me. I'd love to see that. Very good, excellent. Okay. Donkey mentions the Georgia Guidestones. By the way, I see this coming up in the chat a lot. Guys, Trump did call in the National Guard for California. I don't know if it's arrived or if Newsom's fighting him on it, how that's going, because Newsom said he didn't want to have it happen. But anyways, that's going on in California right now. So pretty crazy, pretty crazy stuff. All righty. Next. Okay. Some of these we can do fast. JFK assassination. Let's just put in S. It was definitely not what they said. We even have the what's it called? The files now showing like all the crazy stuff about the conspiracy with
it's been released
involving the CIA, Israel. I mean, it doesn't give us all the details, but there's enough there to know that there's a lot more to it. So that's an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
The Philadelphia experiment.
I don't know that one.
You don't know this one? Okay.
No, I don't.
They did a movie on this a long time ago. If I'm wrong, chat, please correct me. But the Philadelphia experiment's like time travel, I believe.
Oh.
And in I'm going to screw this up. I know in the movie they did about it, they sent back an aircraft carrier from like the 1980s to go help fight World War II. And so, but I don't have the further details on what the actual like conspiracy of it is, but I just know I believe it has to do with time travel. Chat, if I'm wrong about that, please let me know. I'm going to hold off on putting it up here until I'm 100% sure that's correct. But okay, Eric, chemtrails, are they real? Or are they harming us?
I think they are real. I think they were harming us, and I think that has been. I kind of put it in the same situation as the 5G. That like, they had a plan, they wanted to destroy us, but somehow they were thwarted. And there's some good people doing some good stuff.
Okay. I would also say 100%. The difference between chemtrails and 5G for me is that with 5G, I have a little bit of doubt as to actually if they were going to use it. Small amount, but just enough to make me not be 100%. But chemtrails, I know they put them in the sky. It's chemicals. It's bad for you. It's it is supposedly being cleaned up now and stopped thanks to RFK being in charge of all of our health stuff. But was it going on? 100%. And the only debate is how much damage was it doing?
Yeah.
Bioweapons. I don't even know how that's a conspiracy. That's 100%. I mean, we had one just happened 5 years ago. It really broke out
From China.
Project Bluebeam.
Oh,
This is kind of a fun one.
is that where they project things into the sky that look actually real? Like
No. Well, is it? If it
think
is, if it is, I have it messed up because I thought Project Bluebeam was the foretelling of the future.
No, that's what's that called? No, that's different. Blue beams where they like project things and make people think there's aliens in the sky, but it's just it looks real, but it's not.
Okay, so that's not what I thought it was. What am I getting it mixed up with?
Oh, I'm gonna get it. It's at the tip of my tongue. What is that called? Where they look into the future. Looking Glass.
Somebody said HARP. Yeah, Looking Glass. Is that HARP?
Glass. No.
Vinman's saying HARP.
Is when they create weather.
Oh, that's right. That's weather. Okay. So Bluebeam. I obviously haven't studied this one at all. So Eric, you get to lead on this one.
I think there was something that happened in a mall in Miami or something, somewhere in Florida, where they projected some like monster or something in the sky, just like a testing thing.
Oh, I don't know about that. I thought you were talking about the one where like there was that all the police and it looked like there was aliens walking.
Something like that too. Yeah, it's some sort of a projection that looks real to people to do a psyop to get people believing in or distracted from reality.
Okay, so are you 100% or 90?
Yep, 100%.
100%. Okay.
I don't think that they've used it en masse like they wanted to.
Yeah.
But I think the technology exists.
Okay. Okay, so Boswell is saying Looking Glass is time travel, Bluebeam holograms. Okay.
Although some people say with Looking Glass is not necessarily time travel, but it's looking through time. You're not actually going there.
Yeah, exactly.
To see.
There's a great interview with a guy who said he saw it. It's a very compelling interview, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody confirmed Philadelphia experiments time travel.
Cool.
I don't believe time travel is possible in any way, shape, or form.
Nope.
I'm going to put in F. Okay, so HARP. Let's do HARP because that's the weather control.
100%.
100%. I agree.
In fact, Florida has done some sort of legislation to stop HARP from controlling their weather.
Yeah.
So you can't do that for something that doesn't exist.
It's pretty much out there, yeah. Donkey says they're going to fake aliens with Bluebeam. Donkey also says chemtrails being drawn into older cartoons to make them seem normal. I've not heard that. That's crazy. Big B says he hasn't seen them in Idaho lately, so that's good. Let's see. Moody says, plan to establish a totalitarian New World Order by manipulating populations through advanced technology. Theory alleges this would be achieved by staging a fake alien invasion or religious event. Interesting. You know, the story Watchmen is all about an alien invasion that makes the world come together to fight it and obviously lead to a New World Order. So the core was based upon HARP? Really? I didn't know that. That was not a great movie. That movie is not very good. Okay. Climate change. F.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean. Do I believe climate change is a hoax? Then it's 100%. If that's the conspiracy theory.
I think
Is that the conspiracy that it's?
Well, we should treat it like, is climate change real?
yeah, then it's a no.
I do not believe
Well, at least it's not man-made, and that's what all that matters
that.
in
Then
regards to it.
that's what they're talking about for sure.
Exactly. Okay. Hitler's death. Did he kill himself in 1945, or did he go to Argentina?
He did not.
So you don't believe he did?
I don't. And this ties back into the hollow earth, is that they believe the Nazis went into the inner earth.
No, are you serious?
They do.
So they're having their own Third Reich party down there in Hollow Earth with King Kong and
No,
Godzilla.
I think he went to South America and lived for a while.
That's so funny. I've never heard that.
I told you there's a lot of branches to Hollow Earth.
It keeps going deeper. I cannot believe
When you get bored, there's more.
That is so funny. So far, Hitler killed himself. It's 100% no.
Whoa.
100%. Okay, finally somebody said yes. Two people are no, it's one person. So I gotta say, like, I think he did. I don't know why, but I buy into the old narrative. I don't know
Where's the
if
body?
it's just that I spent so much time studying World War II history.
There's no body, man.
Well, yeah, but there might not have been. It was a crazy.
But he vaporated himself? Vaporized himself?
Oh man. Okay. Well, we'll go to it's mostly true. We can't say 100%. So obviously the chat definitely agrees with you for the most part on this one.
That's right.
Chat
is smart.
That's hilarious. Moody says the president of Argentina just came out and said it's true Hitler escaped Argentina. Whoa, what?
Javier Milei?
Milei said that? Shut up.
I'd like to hear that.
That's wild. I gotta see that. Big B says 100% a harp. I spoke to a property owner in Idaho building a tower. Saw a weird tower on his property with tanks at the base. I asked him what it was, and he told me they shoot those. Oh wow. Brett says Hitler had syphilis in the end of his years and did not leave to rational decisions. You think? Boswell says some people claim Obama's Hitler's grandson. Now that's a crazy thought.
That's actually been in the chat a lot tonight.
That his mom, I could see possibly having some ties. KJB says I heard Philadelphia experiment has to do with time travel or trying to come up with tech being invisible on radar. Interesting. Martin Bormann had Hitler. Huh. Oh, we lost Eric for a moment. I hope he comes back. What's up, Hayes? How you doing, brother?
I'm back.
All right, cool. All right, well, the Hitler one we put at an A because we can't quite prove it, but there seems to be a lot of evidence.
Yeah.
Okay, AI apocalypse. This is a forward-looking conspiracy. Will AI lead to the end of life as we know it in a terrible way? Is it going to be Terminator?
Okay.
I lean hard no on this, but what are you thinking, Eric? What is your thoughts on AI?
Yeah, I don't even believe in AI right now in the way that most people think about it.
Yeah. Okay. Explain that.
So most people, when they hear AI, they think of sentience or the ability to think, but it's just right now, it's just a big math equation.
Yeah.
So as of right now, you can't have a math equation destroy the earth. Mm-hmm. So it would have to be a completely different AI than what we have now.
Yes.
And it have to be more in line with what people think it is.
Yeah.
I think most people misunderstand it.
I agree with you. Is AI potentially scary with what it could do? Yes, I would say absolutely. Do I believe in AI ever getting to the point where it's fully sentient? No, I don't. And for me, it does come down to my religious beliefs, my faith, that the difference between us and machines, the difference between us and animals, is a soul or a spirit in both, even. And they're just never going to have that, and so you can't replace consciousness that a human would have, because of that. And so because of that, I don't believe AI could ever get to that point. And so I do believe that we have to watch it carefully, because of mostly because of what people would feed it to make decisions, or in how much control we'd give it. But as far as an actual apocalypse where we all end up in Mad Max or the Matrix because of AI, to me, I'm 100% no on that.
Yeah.
I don't even have a little bit of doubt, honestly. I just, Jim says if it's a quantum computer, and I'm like, even a quantum computer can never become fully aware. It's because it's soul and spirit that make us so fully aware. Lots of German communities in South America, says Moody, says on Joe Rogan's podcast. MRTKO says Hitler hooked up with Butch Cassidy in South America. I love it. Brett says, I love crack. However, didn't Hitler create meth?
Did he?
I don't know. He says that they might have been responsible for invention of model glue as well. I don't know, but Brett would know. Brett always is our crack expert here.
Okay. It's good to have one expert in the crowd.
I love it. I love it. Brett says Kamal believes in AI all day, alcohol intoxication. Oh my God. That's so funny. Vince, you got some? I thought I heard Vince for a second. Yeah. Maybe not. Okay.
We're knocking these out. This is great.
Alien cover up. You and I we both don't believe in aliens. So how is there going to be a cover up? Yeah. All right. Simulated reality. This one's interesting. This is that our world is a simulation. Yep. And you and I are just living in a simulation created by some machine or somebody. And we don't even know we're not real.
Which was a big part of that Mandela Effect movie.
Yeah. It's also a big part of the Matrix until they escape it.
Very true. Yes.
So the question is, now, if you want to say, is a lot of what we see real? I would say absolutely not. But I believe in free will. I definitely don't believe that it's possible to, because even in the Matrix, Neo kind of had an idea that there had to be more. So I think that was kind of like the idea of actual consciousness telling you something's fake. I just don't think. I mean, obviously, there's some people who believe that, so I can't say everybody doesn't, but I don't think most people ever have that sense. But what do you think?
Yeah, I do not believe. There's some interesting things in simulation theory.
Yes.
But like, if you're listening to someone who believes in that and they make a YouTube video to try to convince you, they're going to say the reality that you're experiencing is not real, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But how do you define that? Like, if it's not real, how is that different than how it is?
Yeah.
In the way that we understand it. So I think sometimes it can just be a difference in the way that people describe things versus actually changing what you believe. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. I would say for me, simulated reality is just 100% not true. I know what you just said, and there's interesting aspects, but ultimately I think it's just, we are living a reality, and I think we get one life, but I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah. I mean, from the Christian perspective, a lot of people say that heaven is more real than earth anyways,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
So again, you kind of have to define your terms.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
And what people are even talking about.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Donkey says, I lost a lower right leg in this simulation. It hurt like a mother effer. Yeah, there's that, right?
Help you did it.
Oh, Moody wants to vote on simulation. Okay.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think we should. I agree. Okay. So we have our last votes coming in. And let's do this next one. By the way, 59% of people said AI will destroy us.
Okay.
So that's interesting. Lots of different disagreement against me and you, and that's okay.
That's all right.
All right. Are we living in a simulation? And Jim Boswell asked, what if mankind discovers a way to transport a soul into a cyborg or computer like TVs and movies? I just don't think it's ever possible, Jim.
I don't either.
I think they want to do it. I think they want to figure that out, but I don't think it's actually possible. But I could be proven wrong. If I'm proven wrong, it's going to really mess with me. Not gonna lie.
A great movie about simulation theory is The 13th Floor.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie.
That's a great one.
I haven't watched that in years.
So good.
Yeah, that was good.
Got to pull it out, man.
Brett with the drug detail says meth was first developed in Japan in 1885. Wow, that's crazy. Igora says, my wife is Buddhist. She believes in afterlife or before life. Yes, Buddhists do. They believe in, obviously, reincarnation until you can reach nirvana, if possible. I would disagree with that, but that's okay. But it definitely is a major tenet of the Buddhist faith. This simulation poll is going down closer than I thought it would. Right now, it's about 50-50.
Whoa.
Yeah. The no's are pulling a little bit ahead. Now it's 57% no. I'm definitely going to be watching that one. Hey, please vote in that poll if you haven't already. Are we living in a simulation? I would love to see what you guys all think on that. Okay, here's some. Actually, this Hitler one went right with his death, so I'm just going to put it right next to it. Hitler in Argentina. All right, is Michelle Obama a man?
S tier. We've all seen the videos, and we've seen something that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I am gonna say we've never seen her pregnant. Her daughters are now not even taking their last name.
Joan Rivers said that.
Joan Rivers called it out.
From
I feel pretty good on that one.
Or botched surgery, I guess.
I feel pretty good on that one. Yep.
That's fair. Everyone knows.
Okay, so the simulation has pulled ahead to the nose. 62% say no, but that's still a strong minority. Much bigger than I expected.
It's a lot of yeses. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I am. I didn't think that one would take on as much. But yeah, the nose are pulling ahead a little bit, but still. All right, we're gonna end that one, and we gotta do the is Big Mike a man poll because I'm very I can't wait to see the answers on this one.
I think it's gonna be unanimous almost.
We're gonna see. I think people are gonna vote yes just to do it, even if they just because it's funny. Oh, you're wrong. We already got one no.
Well,
but so far we're at 90%.
Yes. See, that's
and it's growing. It's growing. All right. Well, you guys vote on that. Okay, let's talk about the Vatican. Why don't you lead this one?
So someone mentioned about the gold. So there's a theory that underneath the Vatican, I've heard even there's tunnels underground from the Vatican all the way to Jerusalem that was like filled with gold that they've been like stashing from all over the world.
Yeah.
And that Trump and his allies went over there and basically took it back. But I mean, there's so many conspiracy theories about the Vatican. It depends on which one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I would say we keep it to that one. And add to it is the Vatican like one of the hubs of deep state cabal type stuff?
Yes, and yes.
Yes, and yes. I would agree as well. Listen, this is not an anti-Catholic bashing thing. It's more just focused on the Vatican. I think the Vatican is extremely corrupt. I think it is scary, some of the stuff that's been allowed to go on there, that they've hidden behind the church. And I just saw, I've been going back through South Park, watching all the old episodes, and they have an episode on the Vatican.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like the You know, it was back when all the
going on.
priests were getting busted.
Yeah.
And they went to the Vatican, and this guy gets up there and he does a speech, and he's like, "We can no longer have sex with little boys." And they're all like, "What? No!" They're all like freaking out. And anyways, but the interesting part was instead of like, because it's a priest who finds out what's going on. He goes back and he's like, "Guys, we can't do this. This is horrible. This is not who we are as a church." And they're all freaking out. And anyways, and instead of like appealing to God, which this priest guy thinks like they will, they all like decide to talk to like this giant spider.
What?
And I'm laughing because it's very funny, but at the same time, it was like, whoa, even South Park knows that like the Vatican, even like this guy, the priest guy, he's like a real Catholic, you know, like a Christian Catholic. But it was like at the Vatican, it was like, no, all the cardinals and the Pope and everything, like they're worshiping this crazy other thing that's not God. And I was like, oh, yep, that's kind of how I think of the Vatican too.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was very, very interesting. But we'll see with this new Pope. I've seen some interesting things on this new Pope that actually give me some hope that things might change a little bit. But we'll see.
Possible.
It is very interesting. That he's American and his brother's like all in Trump guy. And anyways, there's some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
92% said Michelle's a man.
Wow.
I love it. That's pretty strong.
That's unanimous.
Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Donkey says that's why they killed Joan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Jim says triaxle trucks full of gold under the Vatican. The opening to hell could be there. I mean, I don't believe in an opening to hell in that sense, but that's interesting. I know there's people who believe stuff like that. Let's see. A lot of theories about Vatican cardinals, etc., full of Satanists. Yeah, Moody, absolutely.
Freemasons.
Yep. So Vatican will put an S.
Jesuits.
All right, and then the last one we have right now is the secret tunnels, which I would say is 100% true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree? I
agree.
All right, guys. So listen, while I'm going to recap these real quick. And while I do that, if we missed a good conspiracy theory, if we missed something that you guys agree with or want to see up there that we didn't get in there, or if we did something so egregious you cannot believe we did it, just put it in the chat while I go through this, because I definitely want to make sure we didn't miss anything as well. But all right, so we'll start at the bottom. The ones we think are definitely not true. There's just nothing we could believe about it. Hollow Earth, the reptilians as another species, not as a group of people are doing bad stuff. Philadelphia experiment, which they actually sent stuff back in time to like fight wars and stuff. Climate change is man-made. The AI apocalypse, which we were very disagreed with in the chat, by the way. But Eric and I said absolutely not, but the chat is like 50-50. Alien cover-up and then simulated reality. So that was all F to us. That there's just...
Is it too late to know something?
No, tell me.
I would put simulated reality in a C category.
Okay, so you think there's just a hint?
Slight chance. Depending on how you define things. Okay,
that's fair. That's fair. Also in the C, we have ancient aliens. And the main reason, Eric and I both more are F, but there's enough people who believe in the alien thing that we gave it an open door. Cryptids, weird creatures walking near us.
Nessie's pulling it up.
Nessie pulled it up.
Yeah.
And then the Mandela effect, which parallel universes and stuff like that. B, this is just, we are 50-50. It is like and Area 51's up here because of the tech stuff hidden. Flat Earth because Vince and some others are so passionate about it.
It's pulling it up.
So this is it could go either way. And then A, this is a lot of evidence, but not quite 100%. And we got Hitler in Argentina, which would also be his death. We have the cure to cancer, moon landing, being faked, and then 5G being used as a weapon against to mess up our bodies. And Eric, I'm actually pretty shocked by how many are in the 100% range. Vince, is that you?
Yeah, I'm on.
All right, what do you guys say, Vince?
I'm running like 10 seconds behind.
Yeah,
So
it does on the YouTube.
Yeah, what were we just talking about like 10 seconds ago?
We were going through the the rankings. So
right before that,
Flat Earth, Area 51, Mandela, cryptids.
No.
Simulation theory.
Simulation theory.
Oh,
aliens,
Vatican.
Vatican.
Yeah, the Vatican.
Okay.
Or Catholic Church.
Okay.
That was what I. Okay, I send my kids to Catholic church or Catholic school.
Uh-huh.
They turned out phenomenal. Best decision I ever made.
Sure.
Yeah, and my kids go to church without me even asking.
Okay.
And I refuse to go with them.
Yeah.
To Catholic church.
Okay.
And they always ask me why, and I don't want to discourage them from going to church.
Yeah.
But I do not believe in the Catholic religion. I do not believe in the Catholic at all.
Okay.
I think the Pope, the previous Pope was evil.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to chime in on that. But yeah, it did wonderful things for my kids. I would not put them in public school.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I would agree. I mean, I think there's wonderful things out of the Catholic Church. I think there's I would say most Catholics are Christians, but there's definitely stuff there. And so, but we don't have time to debate all that. But yes, I would agree with what you said, Vince.
And one more thing, real quick.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church, because I'm a real estate agent in Chicago, every single day for the last like 3 or 4 years, they were calling me, trying to get me to place the illegals coming across the border.
Wow. That's
every
crazy.
single day. And I would chew the rascals out. I would swear I would cuss at them.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, there's a mood in the city of Chicago, in the black community. They're tired of it. They've had it with the leadership.
That's crazy.
I'll let you go back.
Okay, thank you. That's great stuff, Vince. Thank you. Okay, so I see your guys' comments. I'm going to cover that at the end here, what we missed. But okay, we actually have a lot in the 100% range, which is pretty cool. But that just shows you how many conspiracy. Remember the old saying, it's like conspiracy, it just means you're 6 months ahead. Well, this is like kind of proving that true, because we have more in the almost definitely true and definitely true than we do in the fake stuff. And the stuff we think is either 50-50 to definitely false is all just wild stuff. So, but anything that is more possible seems we're definitely leaning true. And the ones we got is 100% is that 9/11 is definitely not what they told us. The MK Ultra program with CIA, it's real, it's mind control. There is a deep state that's actually trying to subvert our democracy and our countries. The JFK assassination was definitely not what it was told to us. New World Order is the actual true plan of the deep state. Chemtrails were real and affecting us. Bioweapons used against us, created in labs, unleashed. Project Bluebeam, it's fake stuff to throw us off, make us think we're seeing things we're not. HARP, weather control, Michael Mano, the Vatican and all its secrets and the craziness and gold and then the underground tunnels. So in the chat, somebody brought up Epstein, which it's crazy we did not talk about Epstein.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that obviously we know Epstein, there was an island, all that's real. That's not even conspiracy anymore. But the current conspiracy is he still alive, or what's going on with that?
There's a lot of weird stuff around his death. A lot.
So much. Stuff. Absolutely. I
would probably put it as an A.
Yeah. I think I'd agree with you. I think it's, well, I would probably say S if we're talking that it's 100% true that we're not getting all the answers. And there's something different going on. So I would say, yeah, A to S on Epstein. Whether or not he's still alive or whether or not he was killed, that I don't know. But I do know there's a lot of secrets still to come out. If they ever do, I'm starting to worry that Kash Patel was just on Rogan this week. It was a great interview. And I'm starting to wonder if, by some of the things he said, if the FBI had either hidden or destroyed a lot of the evidence before he got there. So, but we're going to see how it all plays out. We still got time, people. We still got time. Moody says, I have a conspiracy of Mark Carney was fairly and democratically elected. I love it. What's the Bernie Sanders conspiracy, Brett? I don't know any of conspiracy with him. Different Breed says, on flat Earth, have you ever looked at the moon at night? Partial moon. It's very easy to see it's a sphere. Why would you think Earth is different? Great questions. I can't get into it tonight. We've done so much time on flat Earth, but great questions. Vince says, what about the pyramids? Yeah, we didn't talk about the pyramids.
Yeah. So again, a lot of these things tie to each other.
Yep.
If you subscribe to the hollow earth theory, that is an entry point down into the hollow earth.
Really? I've not heard that one. I've heard the energy theory. I've heard they were built by aliens theory.
Well, they recently came out with this thing saying that there's like massive pillars underneath.
Yes, I did see that. That was crazy. That was crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah. You don't know? I used to believe that the pyramids were probably created by like the slaves, or not created by, but built.
Yeah.
But I will say it's getting harder and harder to believe that as I study it more. So yeah, I don't know. The conspiracies are a mystery to me, Vince. And the problem with the pyramids is they're so old that it's like, it's really difficult to know if there's anything conspiracy to them or if it's just something we don't understand because we're not there. And so I don't know. I would say I would put pyramids in a flat B. I'm 50-50. I would not be shocked if they had just had some way of building them that we just never thought of. And I would not be shocked if there was something weirder there. I will say that before the flood, with the Nephilim and all that stuff, I mean, we don't know how advanced that society got before it was wiped out.
Very true.
So there's a lot of mystery, even biblically speaking. So that's
and also how many conversations they have with the Nagas.
Yeah. You got to wonder about that with the llamas too. Brett says, I'm sure if you start taking the pyramids apart, they're made in China. That's so funny, right? Like the first dynasty or something. Brett says, Bernie, I'm sure, thinks of oligarchy as a conspiracy to keep him from being a billionaire. I love it. Okay, I wanted to share some of the stuff Vince shared with me, that was like the conspiracy pictures and stuff, before we go, because some of it's pretty interesting.
Ace, is it cool if I cut out here?
Yeah, man. Cut out. Right. Thanks for coming.
It's awesome. This is a lot of fun. You guys are awesome in the chat.
I'm just going to spend a couple more minutes on this and we'll go. But good seeing you, bud. Thanks for coming.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Before I go, Vince shared some interesting stuff with me, conspiracy stuff that I'm not going to dive into, but just very interesting. He says, here's the odds of Lincoln looking like Jefferson Davis. And that is pretty spooky how much they look alike. Brothers. So, and then we have Erman Goring with Churchill. Lionel Barrymore played the role of Winston Churchill. So was Winston Churchill actually a Nazi being I mean, that's crazy. I mean, the pictures are pretty wild. Vince, you here?
Yeah.
What's up?
How about the conspiracy between Lincoln assassination and Kennedy's assassination?
There are some insane parallels. Yeah, they really are.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It is wild. I've never understood what that could be. But it has to be more than coincidence. I agree with you on that.
Lincoln being in Marilyn Monroe right before he was assassinated.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Kennedy being in Marilyn
Dude,
Monroe
it's so
before he
crazy.
was
Yeah.
assassinated.
I completely agree with you. It is wild, the connections. So I don't know what to make of it is what I've gotten to. I just don't know what to think, but it's definitely pretty obvious there's something there.
Did you even go over JFK's assassination?
We didn't go too into it because we just all agree that there's some there. I don't think anybody disagrees on that. And it's been gone over so much. So, I'm already at over 2 hours and so
you could call it a night.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through
great,
what,
just so you know, I loved it.
Thanks, Vince. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you.
See you, man. But other stuff Vin shared is proof the JFK assassination of fraud. You cannot have shadows falling in different directions. So here's a picture. Vin, he's sharing good stuff, man. Here's the Challenger. Here's the deaths 1986, and then same person on the shuttle Columbia. So that's pretty wild. Is it an employee or an actor? What's this one? Son of Omar. I don't know what that one is. Sorry. Rosemary Kennedy and Margaret Thatcher. The Kennedys, the Thatchers. That's crazy. And then Joseph Kennedy and the Roosevelts. So the Kennedys and Roosevelts being the same. Wild stuff, Vin. Thanks for sharing. That's pretty interesting. But all right, guys. I'm tired. This was fun. Eric, thank you for coming. Vince, thank you. Tune in. I had somebody else who was going to come and he couldn't get the stupid Rumble link to work. So that ticks me off. Rumble Studio, man, just sometimes is just a disaster, but hopefully they get better. Hopefully they get better because I like a lot of the stuff they're doing with the stream. So, all right. Bless you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend and hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. Take care. Good night.